Hello everybody and welcome back to the football betting series here on YouTube Premier League edition. Last week we went 3 out of 4 in our Premier League picks and 7 out of 8 across all competitions, which brings our October record up to 15 wins with 3 losses and a single push, and a really nice and neat £160 profit. Adding that to our overall record, and we're standing at 48 wins with 13 losses and 7 pushes, and a series profit of £406 and 60p. I've got 3 selections in today's episode, so if you think I'm talking some sense, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into it. Our first selection sees 4th placed Aston Villa playing host to 11th placed Bournemouth, and despite going a goal behind after just 5 minutes, Aston Villa did manage to complete a turnaround against Fulham. They weren't down for long as Morgan Rogers scored to put his side level after just 9 minutes played, and in the second half Villa assumed control of the game, adding 2 more goals to seal the deal in relatively comfortable style. Form-wise, this does mean that Aston Villa are unbeaten in their last 6 Premier League games, and each of their last 9 across all competitions at the time of recording. They play a Bournemouth side who shocked a few neutrals in their 2-0 upset against Arsenal. The script for the game was ripped up after half an hour when Saliba was sent off for a last-man challenge. From there, Arsenal didn't really offer too much, and Christie's breakthrough, followed by Kluivert's penalty, sealed the deal for the Cherries. A really well-earned 3 points against the Gunners. In terms of form, that saw Bournemouth pick up their second win in their last 3, and they're starting to build a bit of momentum and get some distance between them and the relegation zone. When we look at the head-to-head record, Aston Villa won the last encounter by 3-1 at Villa Park. Goals from Rodgers, Diaby and Bailey overpowered the Cherries to take all 3 points. Stat-wise, the game wasn't as one-sided as the scoreline may indicate, both sides generating 4 big chances and at least 1.7 xG. Longer term, there's no real trend. Over the last 5 league meetings, Aston Villa have picked up 2 wins, Bournemouth have picked up 2 wins, and the other result ended in a draw. My prediction for this game is I can't really read too much into Bournemouth's result against Arsenal, given the Gunners were down to 10 men for most of the match. I find it tricky not to back Aston Villa here, but mindful of the Champions League football and a lot of congestion this year, I'm going to act with a bit of caution here and back the Villains as the away side for a half stake in bet number 1. Our second selection sees 13th placed Brentford playing host to 17th placed Ipswich Town, and Brentford, they were bested by Manchester United in their last match. The Bees took a lead under dubious circumstances. They took advantage of De Ligt being asked to leave to get some blood cleared up, but right from the start of the second half, Garnacho levelled the scores, and the turnaround was completed after 62 minutes courtesy of Højlund's strike. The performance levels did really drop off in the second half for the Bees. That has been a bit of a theme for this season. In terms of form, it's very mixed. The last 3 results have seen 1 win, 1 loss and 1 draw for Brentford, but just 1 win in their last 5 Premier League games is worrying. The away side, Ipswich Town, also suffered defeat in their last match against Everton. Another mistake at the back allowed Everton to take the lead via Ndiaye before Keane beat Muric at the near post to double the Toffees' leads before the interval, and Everton held on for the win away from home by 2-0. In terms of form, it is now no win in 8 Premier League games for Ipswich Town, and they have lost each of their last 2 games. In terms of the head-to-head record, these sides have not played each other since April of 2019. Brentford won that game 2-0 thanks to goals from Neil Maupay and Ollie Watkins. My prediction for this side is that both sides are great watches and are some of the neutrals' favourites out there, but they do struggle to keep it tight at the back, so I'm looking for goals in this one. Brentford has seen both teams to score in each of their last 6 games and 7 of their last 8 Premier League matches this season. Both teams to score has also come in all 4 home results so far this season. Ipswich Town, on the other hand, they've seen both teams to score in 3 of the last 4, and also both teams to score has happened in 3 of the last 4 road matches as well for the Tractor Boys. So with all this in mind, I'm going to be backing both teams to score for a full stake in bet number 2. Our third and final selection sees 18th placed Crystal Palace playing host to 7th placed Tottenham Hotspurs, and Crystal Palace suffered yet another defeat in their most recent game against Nottingham Forest. Despite recording 20 shots, a number of these efforts were speculative to say the least. They didn't really trouble Sells in the Forest goal despite hitting the woodwork. In terms of form, Crystal Palace have lost 3 in a row, and they have no win in their 8 league games this season. Fortunately for the Eagles, Ipswich Town, Southampton and Wolves are also winless, so Crystal Palace are not in as much trouble as they would have been in previous years. They play a Tottenham Hotspur side who, after an evenly contested first half, blew West Ham away in the second period. They scored 3 goals in a 7-minute period to take all 3 points in their 4-1 win on the return from the international break. In terms of form, it's 3 wins from the last 4 for Spurs, And that's the sort of form you'd expect from a side chasing Champions League football. When we look at the head-to-head record, Spurs won the last match by 3-1. Eze made a breakthrough for Palace before Spurs scored 3 goals in a little over 10 minutes to overpower the Eagles. Numbers-wise, this was the right result. Spurs won on every match win predictor statistic. The longer-term record, Spurs have won each of the last 5 and 6 of the last 7 meetings, with an aggregate scoreline of 17-6. So my prediction for this game, I'm leaning towards Spurs in this one. They have the much better current and head-to-head form, and Crystal Palace don't really look like in a shape to be able to defend against a strong Spurs attack, which has only been bolstered with the return of Son Heung-min. Spurs to win for me for a full stake in the final bet of today's episode. So there we have it, 3 selections in today's episode, starting off with Aston Villa versus Bournemouth. We're backing the home side at close to even money for a half stake to return £19.40. Also on the Saturday, Brentford host Ipswich. We're backing both teams to score at odds of 1.73, a £40 stake to return £29.20. And our one game on the Sunday and our final game of the episode, Crystal Palace Spurs. We're backing the away side at odds of 1.87, a £40 stake to return £34.80. So across the weekend, we're going to be risking £100 to hopefully pick up as much as £83.40. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into the next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.